Hey guys, what's up? It's Dan Electro 327. I posted my spoken word poem about a week ago, and I wanted to make this follow-up video to just kind of dispel any misgivings people are having, answer any questions. If anybody's confused, I hope that this video will answer or confirm any people's and try to alleviate some people's confusion. Start by saying yes, I am bisexual. I started the process of coming out as bisexual when I was 15, but I guess when I was about 10, I started to realize that I was different from other people. The way that they saw the opposite and same genders was different, or just not the same as the way that I saw it. And at first I was really confused. I thought something was wrong with me, and I didn't have any answers for the way that I felt. And then when I was 13, I in 13 and 14, I was sort of exposed to that whole like lifestyle. I had gained friends that were bisexual and gay, and in the way that they felt and in their stories, I could find a common ground. I felt like the way that they feel and the way that they experience things is very similar to the way I did. And so it was at that point that I guess in my head I decided, like, yes, I am bisexual. This is who I am. And I was really scared to come to that realization, because before that everyone just knew me as me. I was Andrew Brannon to everybody, and they didn't really place any labels on me other than like who I was as a person. And then I was scared because after that I didn't know if people would start to see me differently, start to place the label, like, instead of just being that kid, he's that bisexual kid, or he's that weird kid. And I guess when I was, you know, probably when I just started turning 18 or 15, I had come to a point in my life where before then, I guess the way that I presented myself to others, the way that I looked, my aesthetic, like the way that I presented myself and the way that I projected my personality through the way I dressed, through the way I acted, through the way that I styled my hair, was just whatever. I didn't care because I didn't feel the need to impress anybody, and didn't feel the need to express myself through myself and through the way that other people see me. And then I started to care. Like, I decided that in my life there are things that matter to me and ways that I want to present myself. And so I was making large changes in the way that I held myself, the way that I acted around other people, the way that I treated people, the way that I, of course, styled my hair, the way that I dressed. And so in that period of change, I guess I finally decided that knowing what I know about myself, knowing about my sexuality, I should be honest with people, because I was basically starting new with the way that I was as a person, so I might as well add this to the list and kind of be honest with everybody. And so I guess I started the process of coming out as bisexual when I was 15 and a half. And the first person that I came out to was my then girlfriend. And she was one of the people that I was most scared to tell because at that point she was my girlfriend. So telling her I am also attracted to guys might complicate what we had. So I was scared to tell her, but also I feel like it was important that she was one of the first people that I told because at that point she was also my best friend. She still is one of my best friends. And she was actually really supportive of what I wanted to do and what I was doing in my life at that point, as far as how I felt improving myself as a person. So when I told her this, she urged me to to be myself and accept who I was as a person so that I can be more honest to people, so that people like me for me, not for the way that they perceive me. And the way that they perceive me should have all of the information about me. And me being bisexual to most people is a very large chunk of my personality. So she was the first person that I came out to, and I started coming out to all of my friends in my inner circle of friends, and told my best friend, and he was completely okay with it, which gave me a lot of hope that most people, if not everybody, would be exactly like him and just accept me for who I am. And I slowly went around the concentric ring of people that were closest to me in my friend circle, telling people that I knew less well, and for the most part, it was really supportive. I did have a couple friends that were very conservative minded, I guess, or just very immature, and told me that they didn't want me in their life because of who I was as a person, which was really hard. And I guess it's hard for some people to accept, but it's who I was as a person. So when those people left, while I did feel sad that they left, I wasn't I didn't have any regrets about who I was, because I felt like if they couldn't accept me as who I was 100% of me, then they weren't worth keeping in my life. The first person that I told in my immediate family was probably my sister. In fact, it was my sister. And when I told her, she first asked me if I was sure that this was like who I was, and I said, "Yeah, I've known about this aspect of me, about this part of my person for a long time, and I'm finally being honest, I guess, with myself and the world." And she was really supportive after that. She's continued to be hugely, enormously supportive of anything that I do as a person, whether it be artistically, whether it be romantically, as far as like education goes of school. She's supported everything that I've ever wanted to do. The next person that I told was my mom, and we were sitting there reading or something, and I said, "Mom, I have something that I need to tell you." She kind of looked at me funny because I guess she was expecting something really bad, which in some ways, I guess, telling your parents that, oh yeah, I'm bisexual is kind of a heavy topic and is something bad. She was steeling herself for like the worst. And so when I told her, I was like, Mom, I've known about this aspect of me for a long time, and I wanted to tell you about it because it's something important to me. I said, I am bisexual. And when I said that, she started crying. And then I asked why, because I didn't think it changed who I was as a person. I was still the same son. And she said, and explained to me that when she grew up, people who weren't straight had really hard lives because people judged them for who they decided to love and not who they were. And so she cried because she was scared that my life would be affected by who I am, which is a really sad thing to think about. That she was scared for me because of who I am, but it didn't change the way that she felt. And then later on, she denied it for a long time, and then finally she accepted who I was and was able to accept me as a person. Um, the one person that I still haven't officially come out to is my dad. And I was scared for the longest time because he grew up in a very conservative, Catholic raised family, and that scared me because I know the way they're raised to not accept homosexuals and other people that are not straight. Um, so I didn't tell him for the longest time, and then me and him had an argument about something stupid, probably school, or something looking back is probably irrelevant to any kind of events that would happen in my life or anything that was important to have an argument about. And afterwards, like, I was pretty emotionally compromised when my mom came and talked to me, and she's like, what was all that about? Like, why were you so heated and so, like, raw there? Like, why were you so easy to get really angry? And I was like, honestly, because I don't know how he'll react if he knew that I'm bisexual. Like, how would he look at me? Would he look at me differently knowing how he was raised? That scares me. And she went and had a conversation with him and basically said, your son is bisexual. And he said, I know. And she came back and told me this, and I was completely shocked. And then she's like, well, Andrew, he is your father. He's around you probably the most of anybody. If there's anything about you that you want to hide, you really can't because he's your dad. And I haven't actually formally like sat down and had the conversation and been like, Dad, I'm bisexual, and had like that moment. But we both know, and I guess because we're both guys, we're both being really stupid and not communicating about it. But I hope to do that soon because that would be fantastic to kind of get that off my chest. And the worst part is, while he is really accepting, I know that most of his family isn't, because in fact he grew up with a gay brother, and his sister completely cut ties with his brother. So knowing that, I know that some parts of his family will not accept me and will probably hate me for who I am, which is really heavy to deal with. Um, but again, it doesn't change who I am. I'm still me. It's just a little bit more information about me. And I don't know, I feel better having made this video because it kind of just puts everything out there. And then people can judge me as they want, but it's out there for the world, the internet, anybody to see. And it's a huge weight off my chest because even the way I conduct myself online or in YouTube videos and things like that that I make for you guys, I feel like before I do this, I would hold a part of my personality back and I wouldn't be able to be myself. But now that this is out there, I can do whatever I want as far as who I am, being true to myself, and you all know why, and you're not thinking that's a weird thing for him to do. Why is he doing it? Is he making fun of people? Is he trying to offend people? And no, it's just who I am as a person. Like, I'm not making fun of gay people, not making fun of bisexual people, because I sort of am one. So it's sort of who I am. Really exciting to be really honest with people, and it's kind of one of the most uplifting things in the world. So I wish you all the best for your Thanksgiving break, your winter break. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Uh, I don't even know what you use for Kwanzaa, but, you know, do what you do for Kwanzaa. I want everyone to know that I love you all. Thank you for being supportive, not hating on my previous video. Um, and if there's any of you out there that feel the same way as I do, don't hesitate to send me a message and explain your situation, because I'm here to listen to whatever you have to say. And just know that care about all of you as people. Even if I don't know you personally, you're still people and you deserve the best. So this is Dan Electro 327, and thank you for listening.